Good. 2 marks.
Have the rest of
3 mark. Alright, we're on take 2 mark.
Hi guys, and welcome to the first video of this college majors and career series. Let's go back in time to 4 years ago. What made you decide to apply to NYU?
I definitely do not know as much as them. The next year rolls around. It's something that comes naturally, I guess. So like I had like emotional connections. Film floors, like those are really nice. The alumni circle.
What makes your application stand out? Do you end up working with the same people a lot over the years?
You get a chance to explore basically everything. Every year, those hours for sets just keep getting longer. Now that like I finished everything, like we wrapped on everything, I'm like, whoa, like we actually like, did it, like we pulled it off. It's like whatever you think that you can't do, like you're gonna end up doing it anyway, so.
Is that like stuff that they teach you in class, or is there a lot that you kind of need to figure out on your own?
Set-wise, I think it's like you just kind of pick things up. I think. Immerse yourself in being a PA, doing sound, doing boom, like whatever, and then you can just watch people do it. I think everyone learns by watching, or like everyone learns how a set runs by watching. If you want to learn how to produce, you can watch someone produce first, or like be their like assistant or something. So I feel like you only learn through experiencing in that kind of regard. But other like storytelling, like pre-production, technical stuff, they can teach you, but like actual experience can't really be learned unless you're doing it. The first set that I was on, like the first AC was like, oh, does any of the PAs, like, are they interested in camera? Like, do you want, and I was like, oh, like, I'll be in like camera. They let me like do the slate, they let me do like pull focus for a little bit. Like I didn't know anything, but it was like fun because I just like picked it up and I learned. And even though I ended up not doing cinematography, like it was still a cool experience, I feel like. So it never hurts to ask, I think. I heard a few stories of people who end up doing like stuff like camera and really want to do it, and they get asked like, oh, will you be like assistant camera, and they've just never done it before, but you just say, yeah. And then the whole night before, they just research whatever camera they're going to use, study up on how to do it, and you just show up and you just like fake it till you make it, I guess. And like the first few times you do something might be kind of bad. Like I think the first few times I did sound, like it was pretty bad, but then after that you get the hang of it. Then you like learn problems that come up on set, how to fix them. You just learn by doing.
What are your guys' specialties if you have one?
I mostly like post-production, so I just like doing editing. But if I am on set, like I like doing production design. I'm really into directing, and obviously you don't get to do that often. So on set I do like sound recording and assistant direct a lot. I like PAing too.
Do you guys have tips for freshmen on how to put yourself out there at the start of the year, how to meet new people, whether there's like clubs to join or areas to go to?
In classes probably, especially for film and TV, because you're gonna end up seeing them in all your classes for pretty much like the next 4 years. Like I'll be like, oh, do you like know what we're doing? And they'll be like, no, and I'm like, oh my god, like, and then like we just start talking, and I feel like that's just like a really easy way to like start talking to someone. Just like literally just start talking to them. I feel like most, especially in freshman year, most people are looking to make friends. So they're open to it. Especially like fellow freshmen too, but even upperclassmen. Resources like peer mentorship, where you can sign up to get a mentor. I was a mentor once. That person who is above you will have hopefully a lot more like set opportunities that they can bring you onto if you're interested in that. And I think just talking to people, telling them about what you're interested in, and that name will kind of cycle around. They know you're still learning, and so I think the best way is to just go for everything that you want to.
Are there any clubs or student organizations that are really popular?
I think I know a few. Yeah, NYU Engage has like the full list of clubs. Not even Tisch, it has like all the clubs from NYU, I think. And then I feel like usually they do targeted emails, like especially at the beginning of the year and stuff. I'm pretty sure Tisch has a club there. And it's fairly, they'll just end up in your inbox somehow. There's like the peer mentorship that I talked about. There's like a club called like Femmes in Film. It's a lot of like female or like non-binary. Like A4. Yeah, there's A4, which is like a Asian Arts Alliance. I think there's like a film frat too, there is.
Which is technically like, it's called a frat, but I think it's just a club. And I've also heard that that one's really good. You meet a lot of people who aren't film majors too, who are really interested in it. So there are definitely opportunities and like niche groups too, if you want to find a certain kind of community in the film, and not just people who like film, I guess. What were some of your favorite classes that you've taken? Or topics?
I guess right now I really like my intermediate short commercial form just because it's like music videos and like commercials. I've usually liked all of my script writing classes because I like writing, so those were fun. And then I took a storyboard like class. That was like a craft class, I think, and that was fun because we storyboarded like the first act of some like made-up movie that we were gonna do. Like I think a lot of the craft classes are fun.
Yeah. My favorite classes have been like the production classes. Every year you can take a different one, and after sophomore year you don't have to, but for me I feel like in all of those I've like learned exponentially about like every single like aspect of film, especially because like sophomore year they're super hands-on. Like you're making projects like every single week and like busting out like film after film after film, and it's kind of like a marathon and like a bonding exercise. So I feel like those have been my favorite so far. There are also a lot of classes that I don't necessarily love the subject matter, but the professor can really make it. Like there are certain professors who are very accomplished in their field and their career, and it's like less of the focus of the class is on like maybe the material, but a lot of just like here's what it's actually like to be in film, here's advice.
And then bring in like stuff that they've done and like show you, which is super cool.
Like I took a few like sound classes, and he would show us like, oh, don't like let anyone see this, but here's this like thing that hasn't been released, or you get to like look at unreleased things, work on projects that have already been like made, and kind of like see their their progress and like workflow and stuff. So I feel like even like the editing classes that I took, though I don't really like editing, there are like super inspirational professors that I've learned a lot from.
Yeah. I feel like that's like another plus about NYU is that you get like the big name professors that have like actually done.
Also guest speakers, because like these professors are in the industry, they bring in like guest speakers all the time who like will talk to you. And, like in my intermediate we've had like a bunch of guest speakers, and they're all super excited to talk to us because they want us to like talk to the next generation, and it's like what our professors always keep telling us every single time.
And it's great because a lot of those like guest speakers are willing to like connect with you after
they're
too.
like, oh, here's my email, here's my LinkedIn. Like it's really nice.
Okay, so now 4 years later, how has senior year been? How do you guys feel about graduation in one semester? I guess, how do you feel looking back now that you're almost done? Like, how do you feel about your education here overall?
Yeah, I've definitely grown a lot in school, and like thinking about myself like freshman year, that was very different, and I knew a lot less, and I think I've gained a lot more like confidence and like obviously knowledge, and also kind of just like, I don't know, bettered myself as an artist. That's really cheesy, but I do think that I actually like have had a very like big transformation, but the 4 years did kind of fly by, so it's pretty bittersweet. Like I still feel like there's a lot more that I could get out of it, but definitely, like I said, like immersing yourself in experience is important. So I think graduating now is important so that I can immerse myself in like work.
How would you describe freshman year in 3 words?
I would say intimidating, challenging, and energetic.
Also intimidating, but eye-opening, and this is not one word, but like pushed my boundaries.
What about senior year?
Fun, challenging again, and adventurous.
Also fun, rewarding, but bittersweet.
So as a senior about to graduate in around half a year with a BFA from NYU, how do you guys feel about stepping into the real world?
Not gonna lie, scared. But also I think just like anyone who's gonna graduate from college, any college is gonna be scared, but I'm also super excited just to see like what this like new era brings, because I just feel like every year of college has like changed me in some way, like either good or bad, and it's like it's been rewarding. So I'm excited to see this like post-grad, like actual adult working life era, to see what it's like.
I feel like I was really scared, or like kind of like running away from thinking about it for a really long time, but after seeing a lot of my friends graduate, you just see that they end up fine. Like they all get like some kind of job that they don't hate. Like everyone's still kind of figuring it out, but I think now I just have some kind of trust that in the end I'll end up doing something. And obviously your first job, I already know it's not going to be my dream job. It's not going to be like everything that I ever went to film school for, but I know that there will be something, and it's a start. So I'm obviously nervous about it, but I'm like hopeful.
Good. So let's move into the career-related stuff. So Katrina, you are not doing film stuff.
No, not as like my main career. I'm looking more into like marketing and graphic design for like my day-to-day job. I think that I would do film like kind of as a hobby, like as a freelancer, I think. It sounds so cheesy, but like it brings me joy to edit and then just like putting the cuts together, like figuring out effects and stuff. Even like the credits sometimes, I'm just like, oh my god, so exciting. But I just feel that like if I did that every single day, I would start to not like editing, and like editing is a passion of mine and I want to keep it as a passion. And I think that if I did freelance, I would just like love it so much more than if I did it as a full-time job.
I think that I want to kind of stay more in the film universe, working for like an advertising agency, just something kind of film adjacent, just because I feel like it's really hard to find like company jobs that are like just film. Especially like towards the beginning when you don't have that many contacts. So I feel like a good in is like commercials and advertising, but also I would want to freelance. I definitely want to keep like, you know, working on projects, working on my friends' projects, and picking up like freelance gigs. With film especially, like if you're just making like short films or feature films, the process is so long and the wait for that reward is so long, and you don't even know like whether or not it will be that successful in the end. So I feel like post-grad, it just feels like a safer bet to have something that's like a quicker return. It's kind of like navigating passion and like workflow too, depending on what you want.
What are like the common jobs that people go into post-grad?
There's a range. I know a lot of people do freelancing, like that's there's like, if people know that they want to be like a cinematographer, like they don't go into like a company usually. They'll just do like freelance work and try to get more and more gigs to like eventually join the union or like get some like certification. Freelancing, if you have some really niche interest in production, is a way that a lot of people go. But other than that, I feel like if you're really into like producing, a lot of people go into like script development or like development type companies. Oh, another route is like agencies, like talent management, like those kind of things, just because it's really easy to find connections through that. People end up doing pretty miscellaneous things too.
I feel like there isn't like one set thing, but I don't know if it's just like or like the people that we know, or just like our year so far. It's like a lot of people have been working on late night TV shows and like in writers' rooms and stuff. So like there's been a lot of like I've known like PAs for like SNL, Seth Meyers, like Jimmy Fallon, stuff like that, and like not all of them stay on, but some of them I've seen, like at least from like the LinkedIn posts, like they've like gone on as like a full-time like writers' room assistant.
Especially because like with like living in New York, the TV scene's pretty big. I feel like film might not be as big as it is like obviously in Los Angeles, but there's a pretty good like market for like TV jobs here.
Oh, script coverage. Usually like I don't know, I feel like script coverage is a big thing for a lot of film and TV like internships. Like you start off with doing script coverage.
Especially like producer or people who want to be producers.
A lot of script coverage.
Is pivoting common, like for people that graduate and then decide they want to pivot into something else? Is there like a common area that people gravitate towards?
A lot of like the guest speakers that come, their careers have been like but kind of most of the time pretty like entertainment or film adjacent things. Like I wouldn't say a completely different industry, but it's kind of more like moving from like commercial to doing more like film work. Should I continue?
Do you maybe just like pick up from like one sentence before? Also, you can hold this one, whatever you want. As you were saying.
I think there's a lot of freedom to move in career, but there's certain niches that you can get yourself into that are harder to move out of. Like if you go into something like post-production sound, it's a pretty niche skill set that not a lot of people can do. So I think it's easy to get stuck in that and keep getting jobs for just that, and it's hard to prove that you can do other things. Whereas if you do something like producing, those are like skills that can be applied to so many different jobs.
Oh, like the management skills from like my producing gigs can then translate into this, you know?
Yeah. If you really are passionate about having this one really niche thing that you really want to do, then like go 100% for that. But I think if you don't know, then just keep your options open with something that is relatively in the sphere that you want to work in.
Do people ever go from film, which is like super creative, to some kind of corporate job?
Oh, for sure,
Oh,
probably.
definitely.
It's like, because, I mean, for being like super honest, there's no way that you can survive off of just like your film career unless you like make it big, obviously. But like, you're still gonna have to get some type of job that's gonna be able to support you. So I feel like there's probably people who just like take on the corporate job and then they do like the freelance stuff on the side, which I guess is what I'm doing.
What would be like the roles?
Some adjacent things are like marketing.
Yeah, marketing.
Like stuff like that, like that have kind of transferable skills that you can learn through the job. And especially like if you're like a producer, or if you do like BEMT or something, you learn a lot about the business side of film too. Or just in general, a lot of like business skills.
Is PAing like production assistant, right? Is that like another common route?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, yeah, that's like like everyone always tells us that's like the best way to work your way up. You like start as a PA and then you're like a really good PA and then they remember your name and like the next set they work on, they're like, so and so was a really good PA on this other set. I want them back because I know that they're gonna make like my life easier when I'm on this set. And so you like keep coming back and then it's like word of mouth again. And then you just like keep working your way up. I think that's like the most common way of like working your way up if you're not.
Because that's like kind of how it works. Yeah, that's kind of how it works at NYU too.
Yeah.
If you want to like work on like more upperclassmen things, people get like tossed around. In that same way. So I think that happens, but just on a larger scale. Yeah.
Are there any production companies that you guys would like to work at? Dream ones?
I guess like A24 is like the classic, like
everyone wants to work at A24.
I would like just to see what like the office are like.
I think everyone wants to work at A24.
Yeah, and then like the big ones like HBO, Paramount, like all that stuff. Like Universal seems like a good one actually.
Yeah.
Too. Warner.
There are a lot of like directors who have their own production companies. Like I think Jordan Peele has his own production company, and like Ryan Coogler, who like directs like Black Panther, has his own. So I think there's a lot of like different branches.
Margot Robbie has her own too.
That would be really cool to work into.
What is your realistic dream job and what is your ultimate dream job?
My realistic dream job is just working at like a marketing / ad agency where I can do like graphic design for like a multitude of companies. And my ultimate dream job, if I could just like edit some like feature-length movies like 3 times a year and then just be set. Yeah, I'd be good.
Like for Blockbuster.
Yeah. And then I don't know, like accept an Oscar like once a year, maybe. Like a casual Oscar once a year. I think that'd be cool.
Maybe similar-ish realistic job. I want to be like a creative producer at like an advertising agency that works with companies that I really like. My dream job would be to like direct my own like feature films. Or maybe not necessarily ones that I write, but like just to get to direct, because writing, I'm not the best writer and it really stresses me out. So
You're a good writer.
Thank you. So if I could have someone who really writes well and has really interesting scripts and I just get to like tag on and direct, I would love to.
Like a good writer or director too.
Yeah, or I would love to direct commercials too.
Actually, yeah, commercial directing. I feel like
there's a lot of money there too.
There's a lot of money there. I would love to do that as well.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other tips for getting your start with like a career in
like post-grad or like
post-grad?
I would say like try to like start applying for internships. Like there's never like a good specific timeline or whatever. I think I started sophomore year summer like applying to internships and stuff, and then started doing internships then. And it's like if you can like return to internships, or you can do like a variety of them so that you can see maybe what industry or what niche in that industry you want to do, that's probably helpful as well.
And I think like every opportunity that you get to meet a connection, like a professional connection, or even like a student whose work you really admire, like keep in touch with them.
Yeah.
Like add them on LinkedIn, like follow their career, like let them know if you have like upcoming projects coming up. And I think just like maintaining the relationships with people will end up in work. Like everything that I have done has been because someone like referred me to it in the end. Yeah. Like there are a lot of like cold applications that I sent out, but I feel like the things that work the most are when I build a relationship with someone and then they're like, okay, you should interview, or we could like, you know. Yeah. Cute, right? I had to deliver this package to this random Japanese man for her.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about internships. Where did you guys intern, and what was it like finding internships?
I interned for this one company called Catch, like I think my sophomore year summer. Literally, like it was just like watching movies and then like coding it by like all these like different categories. They're trying to make like this data analytic thing where whatever movie that you like, they take the specific coding aspects of that and then like recommend you like other movies that are very similar to it, but it's like much more specific than like the typical Netflix like recommendations. It's supposed to be like there's over like 1,200 elements that you can like code for. So that was kind of fun because I watched like 4 movies a week that summer. I didn't really do like film internships that much anymore. It was like more marketing, like design internships. But freshman year summer, I did do like a video production internship where I like, it was like during COVID, so like I went around and I like filmed like farm tours in New Jersey. And it was like, I just like filmed like little tours so that people online could see it. It was for this like fiber shed company. Okay, so also my like freshman or sophomore year, I had a very random like video editing like internship for this like nonprofit. Like everyone like starts somewhere. Working for like a nonprofit was great, but then you're like the only person in like the film aspect. So I think like prioritize working for like film or like media companies just so that you can get more connections out of it. Then I like interned this past summer for an advertising agency, and that kind of sparked like my whole kind of interest and possible post-grad plan of working for advertising. I didn't really focus that much on internships, and I focused more on like sets. Yeah, I feel like that was the like path that I chose to go down, and I don't think I I don't think I regret that. There's more like paid gigs that are coming my way with sound. Some freelance work for like advertising agencies, like commercials and like TikToks and stuff.
How does it go in terms of like looking for jobs and also building your resume? Like, is it more portfolio? Are there certain sites that you look on, or is it still like the standard, you know, Indeed, Glassdoor, LinkedIn?
Definitely portfolio based. It's important to have the resume, obviously, but a really strong portfolio will take you to a lot of places, I feel like. And like nowadays, like when I'm meeting people and talking to people, like the first thing they'll ask is like, do you have a link to like a portfolio? Do you have a website? And it's like a good idea to like start thinking about that. And then like obviously if you don't have like anything to your portfolio yet, like don't make a blank website. But like as you start filming things, especially in like sight and sound, we do like so many different like films and stuff. You can start adding those things to your portfolio, to your reel, so that like you just like build it as you go, and like by the time you graduate, like you have a website or a portfolio link where you can like send it to someone so they can see like the trajectory of your career over like college. For specific websites, I feel like the big ones like HBO, Warner, you go directly to their websites, and then like the late night ones, like you go directly to their website as well. But I think I mostly get it off like Handshake, LinkedIn. Tisch also sends like a weekly email, like an internship blast of a bunch of like companies and opportunities. I feel like word of mouth is also, like we keep talking about it, but word of mouth is like huge. In film especially, if you don't have like the strongest resume of experience, as long as you know the right people or have a strong portfolio of like creative work, then I think a lot of it is like they know that you're going to learn it anyways.
What do you guys include in your portfolio?
Well, for me, it's my editing portfolio, so it's every like video I've
ever edited or directed, and all the stuff that I direct I edit anyway, so I just put it all on there. I have like a website, so it's just I have 3 different sections. It's for like my editing portfolio, so it's all my film work, and then I have like photography, like any like film and digital photography that I've taken, and then I have like my graphic design portfolio on there as well.
All the like films I've directed that I'm like proud of from school, and then also I have my sound like reel as well, because I think even if it's not like you're applying to be a director or you're not applying to like a post sound job, just having those kind of gives you credibility. It shows a lot of like your time commitments and stuff.
So we're nearing the end of this interview, but in hindsight, what are some of your favorite memories from the past 4 years related to film?
When we went to the King premiere, we met Timothy Chalamet.
Oh,
that was a fun night.
God.
I feel like we brought dining hall food to the line while we were waiting, so she was eating, and like the carrot fell out of her bag, and it like out of the box into her bag, and she didn't notice.
Oh my god!
Like 5 minutes, it was just like in her bag.
Oh, no.
But that was fun because we met Timothy Chalamet, and then like
Oh my god!
I held his hand for like
What?
a second.
Yeah, lots of fun like random celebrity
Like
encounters
premieres and stuff.
Yeah, NYU also has like pretty random like celebrity drop-ins.
Yeah,
here and
Adam
there.
Sandler was at Tisch the other day.
Yeah, so I feel like it's a mixed bag. You never know what you're gonna expect, and it could be someone really famous. There are certain like sets that were super fun. Like, for example, there was one set where we went to like New Jersey for a weekend, and we stayed in like a YMCA camp with a bunch of kids, and we all slept in like these cabins, and it just felt like elementary school, like summer camp. There's like a funny video of the night like before one of our shoots that the call time was 5 a.m. the next morning, but it's like 2 a.m. and everyone's like line dancing and like screaming, and I don't know, it was just it was a lot of fun. Being on set, especially in different kinds of locations, makes you like, I don't know, it depends on where you're from. Yeah, it depends on where you're from, but a lot of the time I kind of felt like nostalgic of like home or stuff like that. So little like experiences like that, you really get to know people when you like spend a weekend with a bunch of people that you don't really know. So I think it's nice.
What was the most exciting project that you've worked on?
Is it like conceited to say mine? I like
Which one?
the music video.
Oh.
Like I actually really enjoyed working on that. It was just fun. I really liked the people. I felt like the vision that I had like written down and storyboarded, it wasn't like to the T, but like it was pretty much, it came out how I wanted it to, and I had a fun time. I was really nervous because I was like what if I mess it up? What if I'm just like a bad director? Like what if I don't do this right? But it was really fun and it was rewarding, and I felt like at the end of the day like I did what I did, and I'm proud of like what came out of it, and I'm proud of like casting crew, and everyone was just like, I don't know, it's like working towards that end goal. I forgot which one of you said it, but like working towards that end goal, that you can tell like when everyone's working towards the end goal, and it's just nice to like have that little community.
My favorite memory, I think, on set, or like the most fun that I had on set, was this one set that we did in New Jersey that I was like assistant. I know it's not the same story, but it always just happens to be in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I was also assistant directing this one. There was one night that the night before I didn't get any sleep, and so I pulled like an all-nighter going into like a 12-hour shoot, and at the end of the day like we were all just so delirious, but the group of us that were like staying in New Jersey, we like got pho together, and then we like went to go get froyo, and we just saw like a bunch of like, I don't know, like it just reminded me a lot of like Texas, and so it was really nice. You don't really get like experiences like that. I don't know. It was like fun because you're just so delirious.
Yeah, like those people become your best friends for like 12 hours.
What advice would you give yourself as an incoming freshman?
Put yourself out there, but don't like overwork yourself. Find a balance in your life. It's kind of contrasting because you should say yes to everything, but also at the same time like find priorities, find places where you might not necessarily have to do that project or might not be the most beneficial to you. Like, do not like, you know, stress yourself out, lose too much sleep over it, because at the end of the day, like, it's supposed to be a fun thing, and you should have your own personal life too.
Yeah, I second that. Don't worry too much. Trust that even if you fall, like you'll land where you need to be. I think freshman year, I was like, I just started and I was still so freaked out. I was like, oh my god, like what am I gonna do? Like where am I gonna go? Like how am I supposed to like better myself? Stuff like that. And I was like thinking about like 4 years ahead into the future when I had no idea what was gonna be happening. I was just freaking myself out for no reason. But like like I found my way. Like you're gonna find your way. Just like let nature take its course.
So I have one last section for anything else you guys want to share, tips, stories, etc. But you guys don't have anything.
So there's this one set where I went to the camp in New Jersey.
I don't know if I've talked about it yet, but there was a set in New Jersey. I know everyone's dying. We can do another video on that.
Whole separate video. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys so much. Double high five. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with Meg and Katrina.
If you are a working professional and anything that I said resonated with you, hire me.
And feel free to leave any questions you have in the comments below. Like this video if you want a part 2. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time.
Woo, that's a wrap!